Let f of x equal 5 cosine 2x minus 1, where 0 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to pi over 2. Find f inverse and determine the domain and range of f inverse. So how in the world are we going to do that? Well, we know that it's given us already the domain. So I'm going to rewrite that down. Now, this domain can also be written as 0, comma, pi over 2. Now, since we have that, we can relate something about that if we had the 2x, which looked just like what we have in our original. And remember, we can because we can multiply through by 2, which will show us what the domain is in relationship to the 2x. And based on that, the function is one-to-one and invertible on the original domain. I know that probably sounds like a lot of hooey that I just said, but it's true. And remember, we've already talked about that previously, so basically this is another revisit. Now, the other thing that we need to look at is we have the function, right? So we need to figure out how we can solve the function. Well, if I have y equals 5 cosine of 2x minus 1, if I want to find the inverse, what do I have to do? Well, I have to interchange x and y. So this now becomes x equals 5 cosine 2y minus 1. Now somehow I'm going to have to get y all by itself. So the first thing it looks like I should do is I should add 1 to both sides. So I'm going to get x plus 1 equals 5 cosine of 2y. Now I need to just isolate the cosine, so I'm going to get x plus 1 over 5 equals the cosine of 2y. So far so good, right? Now how can I actually find out what y is? Well, I need to take the inverse cosine of x plus 1 over 5, and that will equal to 2y. Now, how do I get the y by itself? I divide everything through by 2, so let's be 1/2 the inverse cosine of x plus 1 over 5 equals y. So this is the same thing as f inverse of x. So we've solved that. Now, we have also gotten the domain, which is up here, so we've got the domain. So what am I missing? Well, I'm missing the range, right? So how in the world am I going to figure out what the range is? Well, I know that I'm starting with 0 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to pi over 2. I need that 2x in the middle, so this is 0 is less than or equal to 2x is less than or equal to pi. Okay, so that hasn't really got me anywhere, right? I'm not really sure. I need to make it look like what I started with. Well, I could multiply each part of the inequality by cosine. So let's do that. So I would have the cosine of 0 is less than or equal to the cosine, that looks weird, the cosine of 2x is less than or equal to the cosine of pi. Well, that's looking more like what I want, right? But I can actually evaluate the cosine of 0, which is minus 1, is less than or equal to the cosine of 2x is less than or equal to 1. Now, how does that differ so far than what I originally started with? Well, I had a 5 out in front. So let's multiply this whole thing by 5. So that would give me minus 5 is less than or equal to 5 cosine of 2x is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so far so good. What am I missing in the middle? I'm missing the minus 1. So I'm going to subtract 1 from all three parts of my inequality, which is going to give me minus 6 is less than or equal to 5 cosine of 2x minus 1 is less than or equal to 4. Well, that right there is going to give me my range. So my range is going to go from minus 6 to 4.